Capitol Elementary, Baton Rouge.
We have Harambe every morning. We just set a positive climate for the rest of the day. The tone and the confidence is really important for students learning because if they feel like they can do it, then more than likely they will do it.
Brittany Bush and Jessica Anderson know the importance of confidence in their classrooms, and they're familiar with issues of underconfidence and overconfidence.
I have a few who lack confidence, and a lot of times they do comprehend what they're doing.
So a lot of times the students that actually failed the test the week before, when they come to me and I ask them, what do you know about this topic? They think they know it, but they don't actually know how to do it. I like that they're confident. I just wish that they actually knew that they didn't actually know what was going on with this actual concept.
Under or overestimating how prepared you are for a test is a sign of weak metacognition. Brittany and Jessica are going to learn what exactly is metacognition and how will it help in their classrooms.
The more we can make a thinking process visible, the better we can understand how to make it more effective. That's what metacognition is all about. In a nutshell, metacognition is thinking about thinking. It's knowledge about our thinking processes. It is broken down into three main processes: how we plan, how we monitor, and then how we assess. When we can plan out our studying, when we can plan out how we're going to tackle a complex task, our studying and learning becomes better.
Teachers can ask questions that get students thinking about how they'll know what they'll need to know. How will the students learn what they need to learn? What goals should the students set for themselves? How will they reach those goals?
I ask them a question about the overall concept that we're actually working on that day and tell them, please tell me, what do you know? What do you want to know?
Monitoring means encouraging students to think about their thinking while they're learning or practicing something. Students should be asking themselves, am I on the right track? Is there a different strategy or approach? Does this seem accurate?
Take Brittany's math class, for example. There was a student who gave an answer, and Brittany just said, think about that a moment. Does that sound right? He just took 3 or 4 seconds, said a little bit aloud, and realized that it wasn't the right answer. So right there, it was that, let's take that time for that metacognitive work to take place.
The goal is to get kids monitoring their own thinking, to think not just about the right answer, but how they're getting there.
Those questions that you reminded them to ask each other are actually great metacognition questions. Hey, why do you know? What's the evidence? That's great metacognition, because you've already got them to know what questions to ask each other, and now they've just got to make sure they ask themselves the same questions.
Exit tickets, where students hand in answers to a question at the end of class, are a great opportunity for assessing of metacognition to take place.
Ms. Anderson actually had students put a little dot indicating their level of confidence, where if they were not confident with what they had learned in class, they were to put a little red dot on. I think that's vintage metacognition, having the students go, hey, are you really confident about this? And if not, let me know, because then we can work about it. Modeling metacognition is easiest when teachers show how they deal with challenges themselves. If a student asks a question and you're not entirely sure, think aloud as you walk out a solution. For students to see you doing that out loud, that's one of the best ways to model it.
Brittany and Jessica started using the color-coded system to monitor throughout class time, rather than just at the end.
Let's rate what we feel in the beginning, and then after we have this discussion, let's see if we feel a different way, thinking about how we think. And then we re-rate our question at the end.
Most students just gave themselves a green, no matter what. I had to make them realize that I wasn't expecting them to be green. I really didn't want them to be green. I wanted them to grow from red to green. They realized that the ratings were for themselves and not for me, and then they started being more honest. They didn't want to be overconfident anymore. They wanted to be honest with how well they could master a skill.
Brittany also communicated with students about their understanding through private online reflection logs.
They'll talk about what they did in class, what struggles they had that day in class, what were their successes that day in class. You know, it's a live doc. They can go in, I can go in and talk about it. We have comments on the side. They come in and they say, well, today I had trouble with adding fractions with unlike denominators. I can go and address that in the comments. They come back the next day or the next few days and they don't have those issues anymore and they stop making those same mistakes. I've purposely made mistakes as I went through lessons so that they can see that sometimes even as a teacher, we're overconfident.
A lot of these strategies and techniques take practice, they take repetition, they may not work the first time, and I think you've got to be ready for that. But don't give up, because we have years of research showing that the more metacognitively aware our students are, the better they can learn.
Implementing metacognition strategies is something that we as teachers have probably been doing. We've probably done a lot of these things, so it's not scary. It's not hard, but it's really specific. It's strategic. You have to come up with ways of actually implementing this in your classroom so that you feel confident, your students feel confident.